back to the garage. I'm standing here in front of the Mini. Yeah. Summer holidays is over, kids are back to school, been to work this morning, and got a bit of time this afternoon just to sort of get some prep work in. So let's have a look at what I've done. So I have been around with the flap wheel and tidied up all of the paint away from the edge. I've then done a good coating on all and any of the bare metal that I could see, because there's been quite a bit, and it rained last night as well. I've coated everything I can in this weld through primer. The other thing I've done is I've trimmed this panel, so I've got this edge here nice and rounded to match the bit it's going with. Everything's got round the outside at least a good coat of the weld through primer, and that's on both sides as well, inside and outside, because I didn't want to take any chances. It's only around the outside because I can get to the middle after I've finished, because this is all needs flapping back, but it's a real pain in the butt to try and flap this back to bare metal when it's not attached to the car. So once it's attached back to the car again, I'll get the middle inside and outside sorted. I mean, the inside bit's not rusty anyway, but the outside bit is just where we've had a bit of dampness and the weather started to turn more for autumn now. So I'm just waiting for this to dry. I'm going to tidy up the chaos that got me here, and then I'm going to break the welder out, and I'm going to start tacking this flat dash panel in place. Woohoo! Okay, what you can see here is I've got a bit of the bulkhead that I've cut out, and I've got a bit of an offcut from the panel that I'm going to do. I've just given them a clean up and a spray with the old weld through primer, because I've not welded anything this thin for quite some time, so a little bit of a practice. I've got a few more offcuts and a few more bits I can do, so I'll have a couple of goes, get the settings on the welder right, and then hopefully I can just steam straight in to getting this panel welded on. And here is said test piece. I've had to literally wind the welder all the way down as low as it'll go. I might even slow the wire speed down a little bit. I'll have another go in a minute. Just slow the wire speed down and see how it takes it. But after, it looked crap when I'd just welded it, but after just running the flap wheel over it, not flap wheel, the wire wheel over it, just to sort of clean it up, I'll be happy with that. I can grind it back flat and make it look pretty. So yeah, I'll have another go, and then I might well crack on with the big job. Okay, this is the unadulterated ugly bit. It looks a lot worse on the camera than it actually is, but I ended up blowing a hole here just for being a bit too keen. Went in when it was still too hot. It appears really easy to blow a hole and really hard to plug it back up again, but I found a sort of sweet spot for here, then got everything a bit too hot and blew another hole there. So I mean, I'm stuck with the limitations of my welder. I'd love to be able to take some more power out of it and weld a bit slower, but don't have that option. So I'm going to put a couple of tacks in the car and just start gently chipping away at welding that panel in. I mean, let's go. Okay, here we are. Yeah, maybe put a couple more tacks on the top edge, but tacked in place, nice and solid. Quite happy with how the shape of it sits in there. The only bit I'm going to have to work on is down here. I knew this was going to be an issue, and I'm going to have to literally just make it up as I go along. I might even have to put a little cut in here and bend it down and try and follow the shape of the original panel, but I couldn't get all the way into the edge with the bit of metal I had, so I'm working with what I've got. Yeah, they're tacked. I'm gonna have a cup of tea, and I'll come back after and have a crack at filling up some gaps. Okay, I've had to stop there. The welder started coughing and spluttering here, as you can see. It's just not liking this. So I've done, that's what I remember, we had to weld thin panel again. But yeah, it looks ugly as sin. I don't care. I'm going to grind it back, make it look pretty. So yeah, for some reason, I'm assuming the welder's actually got hot at this point, because it's just been an absolute nightmare. It's just not burning clean. Nothing's working right. I'm assuming, yes, it has a habit of overheating itself because there's no cooling fan on it. So I've done a good stint here. Yeah, it's nice and solid in there. I'm going to give it a little bit of a break now. Give the welder a break. I'll have another cup of tea, come back and try again. Okay, so it's now 6 days later. So I went in for a cup of tea, and the heavens opened out, so I got very, very wet. And so did the car, and so did the welding equipment, so did everything. Not the best way to finish off a Tuesday afternoon. So this is the following Monday. First chance I've had in the gaps of the little showers we've been having all week. Looks like we're going to have a good couple of days, so hopefully I'll get a good couple of days graft on this. Let's spin this around. So as you can see, the rust has been facilitated some more by the rain. I did get out here with a cloth in the evening and just wiped everything down dry, but it was all just so damp. I didn't want to do any more welding, didn't want to risk doing anything. So I'm going to now try and clean up what's here and get some more welding done. If I can get from this edge all the way around the bottom and back up to there done today, I'll be quite happy. If I can get these two top bits done, I'll be even happier. But they're going to require a little bit of trimming and tacking and possibly bending material. So we'll see how we go with them. And I've got to make up the piece to go here yet. I might try and hammer this down flat, but I don't want to risk bending this top lip here. So I'll probably, I think the other option would be to cut it up here, and then make a flatter piece across that bit there. We'll see. But yeah, clean up what's here and then crack on with the next bit. What a difference a week makes. Okay, so when the welder gets hot, it most definitely gets crapper welds. I'm assuming the power regulation just sort of, it can't regulate what it's giving me, or don't really understand how it works, doesn't matter. When it gets hot, welding goes bad, so I've got to watch out for that. But cleaned all the edges back to bare metal after a tip from someone at the local mini club, thanks Terry, to keep everything spotlessly clean. Give it another clean before you start, sort of. He was just on about cleanliness, so I think I might have done that in a YouTube video. I've been speaking to a lot of people, so if it wasn't Terry, I do apologise, but Terry sticks in my head, so we'll stick with that one. Yeah, I'm Dave as well. Thank you very much for your tips on letting the gas run for a second and purge before you start, because that's, again, made a very big difference, so thank you also. Yeah, I'm aware that this probably looks crap, but this little section here and this little, well, it didn't start great there, but it got better as I went on here. Really happy with those. It doesn't look great on this camera, on this screen, but everything just went nicely. I was pulling from starting on the bottom and pulling up into the panel so I didn't blow through. So literally I was pulling up into the top, and it just flowed nicely. So I'm gonna try that. Well, this is my next best spot because I've got a kind of bridge a gap here, so I'm expecting I'll probably blow holes in this section here because there was nothing behind here, because that's where the carburetor box was. So I'll try the same here, joining that section there, and then I'll probably do that one there. So I'm kind of working over. Okay, that went better than expected, apart from walking in the garage with my welding mask on still. Yeah, that went well. Quite pleased with it. Quite pleased with how the welds look, how it's all going in. The pulling it up and into the weld works really well. I'm just going to show you what we've done. Bottom edge is done all the way across now. So, yeah, you weld porn geeks are going to go, that's horrendous, but I'm really pleased with that. Again, same along this edge here, because there's nothing behind it. It's two flat panels butting up together. And that last section in there, again, really pleased with it. There's a few bits of splattering, but I'm going to flat wheel this all back and possibly run a bead of seam seal around it, so what does it matter? Okay, edge is next. So I'm going to try and get this edge all the way done up to the top, and then I want to start this edge at the top and work down, but I've got to kind of work this edge properly. I think I'm going to have to knock this edge down to make it meet the metal underneath, or knock the bottom edge back up, because there's just a big gap there. I couldn't find a way to get it around without shaping the metal, and I don't have those tools, so well, we'll see how it goes. This has been a good morning so far. I'm going to finish my cup of coffee, because I haven't done that yet, and then crack on with the next bit. So yeah, wish me luck. Again, probably not significant to you weld porn people, but that I am really, really, really happy with. For my eyes, that looks the bollocks. Again, this was the old bit, but managed to get a very similar on this edge here. Works much better closing the gap up with a hammer, so I'll make sure I repeat that on this side, and then I'll tackle the tricky bit. Thought I'd show you this quickly before I weld it up, but actually this has knocked quite nicely down into the shape of, it's hard to see, maybe from up here. I filled up that horrendous gap basically by just knocking the panel about a little bit. Might take a little bit of grinding to make it look beautiful when it's done, but still, this is the back edge. As you can see, I knocked it down from the front and then knocked it back to meet this panel, so it's just a little bit tighter. So I'll hope the welder holds out long enough for me to do that, and then on to the next bit. Okay, we have had great success. So we're done down here, all the way along there, and up there, and up here. Particularly pleased with this. Particularly pleased with, well, that bit and that bit. Next bit is that one and that one. I've cleaned them back to bare metal. I've also cleaned it back on this side. I've done the same on the inside, because what I'm going to do is start welding on this edge and pull it up and in, and hopefully melt some of this edge down to save me having to cut too much of it off. We'll see whether that works. Could be a shitty idea. We'll find out. Okay, here we have it. Nice long seam across there, and literally, as I said, I was just starting the weld up high, letting it melt down, and then flicking it in. So all the way along there and all the way along here. At the beginning of this one, I started getting a lot more splatter. So I put an awful lot more gas into it. But what I think, because I've now been welding for quite some time, I'm now wondering if this bad boy is getting a bit hot. That's probably the most amount of welding I've done in one go in a long time. And yeah, I think the time I'm using it for is its weakness. So I might do a little bit of prep work, because I've got to figure out how I'm going to do the outer edges. And I'm just kind of looking forward to this being sealed up so that I can then get the flat wheel, probably buy a multi-pack of flat wheels, flat everything down and make it look a little bit prettier, because I think this is going to be the Don when it's done. So if I do say so myself. So yeah, gonna think, okay, how am I gonna... So okay, if I look, I can probably carry these welds on up to here. I've got to clean that area because I didn't. I'll clean it up to here. I'll bring this one, oh, look where I'm looking. Bring that one up to there, that one to there, so that I've just got this middle section to deal with. And then I might try and knock these bits here back a little bit to sort of save me having to melt quite so much off, because just having a sort of fairly smooth shape along the top here would be fine. I don't really need the indents that these were put in for. So that would then simplify this. I can just do, as I've done here, I can do to there, and then I've knocked these bits up. So I might put a little tack either side here, clean it up, put a tack, and then I'll go about just knocking them around gently. And I'm just going to hope at this point, so I've been out here welding for an hour now, just going to hope that the welder is not too hot. I mean, air temperature is still quite high, but yeah, I'm thinking I may need to upgrade the welder if I was ever going to do anything like this again. So onwards. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? That looks lovely, that does. Really pleased with that, how that's come out. And I was quite pleased with this first bit, but the further it went on, I'm assuming this is the overheating welder. It just wasn't pulling the material in, and it was just coughing and spluttering, as you can see around it. So I think that's me done welding for the day. I've gone right up to the edge of that crease there, so I can sort of normalise this shape a little bit, and hopefully come up with an idea of how to make it look pretty. Okay, if you're watching the time lapse closely, you'll have noticed that a decision was made. I got the hammer out, started hitting stuff. So this is where I'm at. That's not gone on very well, but still. I've got free air to kind of fill, which is not the nicest thing. So I'm probably going to be putting another tack in between each one and just building individual sections as I go. But I think as a finished solution, it's quite nice. I kind of realised if I knock this down and that bends up, it's very easy to kind of get up here and knock it back down again before the scuttle goes on. So yeah, I'll start the hard end and work my way to the easy end and hope for the best. Holy crap on a stick. It's done. Even if I crouch down here, I can make that curve look a bit better with a bit of grinding and a bit of flatting, but I'm really pleased with how that came through. I mean, it's not the prettiest weld, it was quite a tricky one to fill up all those gaps, but I did. I might well need to, once I've flattened it back a little bit, might need to get in there and do a little bit more, but as a whole thing, I am really pleased with that. Yeah, hopefully next time you see me, this will be either done or I'll be going through the process of just flattening everything down and making it look pretty. So, yeah, onwards to the next one.